Okay, we're going to move some things around on our agenda so that we can go back into our executive session for some things that we're working on. And the first thing we will do, I'm sorry. Yeah, where is that? I'm sorry. So I'd like a motion to move around our agenda and go to item number 5 and item number 6. No, sorry. Number 3 and number 5 in new business. Eleanor, motion. Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. By voice, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. So number 3, and correct me if I'm doing this, see if I need to, there we go. Could I please, sorry, the consent agenda, wait. Could I have a motion to vote on numbers 3 and number 5 in our consent agenda specifically? I'm going to pull those two out. If I could have a motion to vote on 3 and 5.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of approving?
Christine?
Yes?
If I may, I just think you should ask for discussion. I don't know that we're going to have any, but
Thank you,
just
Jim.
to follow form.
Sorry, this is like, baptism by fire here, switching everything up right before. Thank you. Any discussion on number 3 and 5? Thank you. Okay, all in favor of approving number 3 and number 5? Our
Aye.
personnel actions and a resolution to approve the interim ASI contract.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Those two pass. Congratulations. Sorry that wasn't as smooth as we had anticipated, but we got there in the end, right? Okay, so now we would like to open up the floor for public comment, a recognition of visitors for any item on the agenda or for any other concern. The Board of Education welcomes comments from the public. Each person wishing to speak is asked to speak into the microphone, identify themselves, and respectfully limit their comments to 3 minutes. 2 opportunities to speak are available, one early in the meeting, which will be limited to 30 minutes, and one at the end of the meeting. Each speaker may address the board only once at both times of the opening and closing positions of the agenda. Please remember there will be no cross-dialogue between speakers and between the members of the board. All speakers are to conduct themselves in a civil manner. Obscene language, libel statements, threats of violence statements, advocating racial, religious, or other forms of prejudice will not be tolerated. Persons wishing to discuss matters involving individual district personnel or students should present their concerns and/or concerns to the superintendent during regular business hours. Would anybody like to make public comment? Yeah, alrighty. Could I please have a motion to go back into executive session to continue our discussion? And when we return, we will pick up with the presentation by the Palumbo Group. Eleonora, second by Carl. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We'll be back as soon as we're done. We set ourselves a time limit of 15 minutes, so we should be back shortly.
okay. She just wasn't physically, she was doing something and she just wanted to check with mom, you know? Yes. But thanks for asking.
Alrighty, can I please have a motion to reopen our meeting? Second? Thank you. Thank you for your patience to the Palumbo Group. We're going to jump right into the presentation by the Palumbo Group, who are here to join us to go over an update of our capital project and the work that's being done. I'm going to turn it over to John to give us an intro and some background. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Christine. So with us this evening, we have Bill Devine from the Palumbo Group. He's our project manager on our capital project that has been taking place over the course of the past several years. Joining Bill is Mike DeVogel, who's in the back. He's here for support as well. And our other familiar face is Walter Moran, our director of facilities. So Bill has a presentation for us today. You've seen a couple presentations from Palumbo Group before. And this is really just a status update of our capital projects. I don't want to steal too much of Bill's thunder, but he'll take you through phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of the capital projects as they're broken out. As you can see, our capital projects are very public. You know, you pulled up to the high school today, you saw brand new tennis courts and parking lots and the new stadium and turf and track. And if you've driven by the other schools, you're seeing a lot of other work. COH is, looks like a child missing teeth at a very early age with, you know, the windows out and some in here and there. And then Lee Road with paving and things like that. So Bill's going to take you through a little journey for the next several minutes. So welcome, Bill, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you very much for everybody. Can you hear me? Is this on? Okay. So I got great news tonight. First one is the phase 1 status update. We'll get into phase 2 and then phase 3. The phase 1 status update is that we are complete. I think we talked about that last time I stood in front of everybody, but we can officially say, even closing out the job, we've officially financially got to the end of our journey, and we're done. So I think that's great news. A couple things that we're going to talk about tonight is the project scope review by phase. Again, the phase 1 district-wide renovations bathroom and the loading dock is complete. The monthly communication tools reports, owner architect, construction manager meetings that we have on a weekly basis. Phase 2, which consisted of the locker room, the lobby, and the sports stadium. Again, monthly communication that we have weekly. Phase 3 would be the middle school corridor, the parking lots, the COH windows and baths, and Lee Road parking lot and baths as well. And changes to the future bids, contracts, and construction activities. I think we're going to skip that one for now. But so phase 1, I got a little excited and jumped the gun there without the slide up there, but we are complete with that. Phase 2, the big journey here was the beautiful sports field you guys have out there. We are officially turning that over on August 15th. As you guys, hope you guys took a nice little look at that. It's beautiful out there. We had a problem, kind of funny story, when we were putting down the track surface. It's a soft surface until it dries, and the deer kept jumping the fence and thinking that the field was a nice, lush green oasis out there. So every morning the guys had to come in and fix all the deer prints in the wet material. But it looks great, no issues. We just finished up the ball fields, which is down here. Everything's been leveled and seeded. Now let's just pray for a little more rain and hopefully get the seed to pop. But we are officially, we did our punch list about 2 weeks ago. We've handed that back to the contractors, and we're working on trying to get the punch list completed before we turn it over on August 15th. I don't think we'll be 100% there with the punch list, completing it by that date, but we were able to at least get the field inspected, get a report out there to the contractor so that we can officially work on that punch list. A couple things for phase 2, that the tennis courts, which we were able to complete over one of the breaks, which was a huge help. The new stadium lighting, very excited to show you guys the stadium lighting. It actually goes with the sound So as the speakers are on, the sounds are on, you know, like a real stadium, and the lights will flicker. It's pretty cool. The new bleachers and press box, great spot up there. Spent a lot of time looking at the view of those mountains across the river. The great scoreboard, we're working on that to get that fired up now. We're just doing the fiber terminations and hopefully have that up in about a week. The artificial turf, that's the big deer field out there. The beautiful track, love it. It looks great. As you know, we did the 50-foot extension. It's going to be amazing. And the upper parking lots, we just got done striping everything if you happen to drive by today. So with that being said, couple ways that we went through the project here. Cornwall Elementary School, replacing the classroom ceiling lights, another project that we were able to take advantage of over a break and get that work completed. The vestibule here, as you walked in the front door, we got the unit set on the rooftop. We're going to complete the ductwork and the piping this week. I would say having start up in about a week and a half, we'll be able to have air conditioning in that space. And then the middle school, the locker rooms have been completed for quite some time. The new classroom as well. The gym mechanical equipment was actually started up today. We couldn't complete the abatement in that space until after the kids had left for the summer. So all that's behind us. The ductwork's completed. The unit was fired up today, and everything's working as it should. Talked a little bit about this already. The fields are 100% complete. We're in the punch list phase. Now, the mechanical work here, 90% complete, finishing up the ductwork and the mechanical piping. The locker room, 100% at the middle school. Gym mechanical, like I said, we fired it up today, 95% complete. And the Lee Road ceiling and lighting project was completed last year.
Hey, Bill,
Yes.
just by middle school mechanical, you mean the new air handler, air conditioning for the gym space in middle school?
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you.
You got it. So here's Lee Road, phase work. When we started doing the ceiling renovation here, you could see kind of the phase we were in on the demo, and then you can kind of see here where we put the room back together, nice new white ceilings and light fixtures. Here's another look at the lobby here at the high school. This is all the high school here. This is kind of what you saw behind the curtain when we built up the temporary walls, protected the floors. We did all brand new steel in the ceiling. That was completed over the break, and that's where we're doing the new ductwork now. And the tennis courts, which have been completed for quite some time. I'm very early in the morning. Got to see the sunrise this morning, and when I put this slide together, very beautiful. This is the track. Get a nice picture here of the track of what it looks like as we're applying the striping. Not all of it's done here in the picture, and then a nice view of the actual field looking at the bleachers. This is actually of this morning. I tried to update this as close to the progress of the presentation as I could. So this is actually a furnished project of this morning. Here's a picture of me standing on the stadium seating, overlooking some of the construction that was happening about a few weeks ago. Over to the middle school, we talk about the mechanical system. So the gym is the mechanical system that we're completing now. You can see the brand new ductwork, the dark area there, how we protected the floors, so no paint and everything gets on the floors. And then the middle school locker room, I know you guys have all seen that, and the beautiful tile work and the new showers over there as well. Phase 3, talking about the middle school parking lot, is complete. The middle school storefront is about 75% complete. We have all the materials. We're working on putting that back together as we speak. Lee Road parking lot is about 95% complete. The line stripers are actually going to show up this coming Monday. All of the asphalt is complete. It's actually off-gassing. It has to off-gas for 10 days before we start putting paint on there. The bathrooms at Lee Road are also about 95% complete. Unfortunately, I didn't have updated pictures of this morning here, but you'll see it in a second. And the window project, which we'll talk about, is about 50% complete. Here's the Lee Road bathroom. There's actually tile on these walls now. When I took the picture, unfortunately, it was a couple days ago or a week ago. Here's Lee Road parking lot. Kind of, you can see the sub base that sits below the asphalt, and then a finished product as of this morning of the asphalt laid down. The middle school asphalt project, we were able to get this one done fairly quickly. This has been completed for about 3 weeks now. Everything's line striped and been turned back over to the district. COH bathrooms, you can see kind of where it was under construction, where we are today. We're starting the tile work in those bathrooms this coming Wednesday. All of the plumbing roughing is complete, besides one floor drain that we're doing started today, and all the electrical roughing is done as well. So once we start getting the tile on the walls, we get ceilings, we get the urinals and toilets, and then the dividers, and we'll be able to turn those over. COH window replacement, this is the left-hand side of the building, if you're looking at straight at the front of the building. This school, I kind of dread talking about this one. We found, when we took the windows out, we found the old windows behind that. And what I mean by that is, when they replaced these windows, who knows, maybe 50 years ago, they wrapped the old wood jambs with the new window cladding. We could not see behind the aluminum windows. We knew that the caulk on the aluminum windows was ACM, which is asbestos-containing material. We had planned to have it abated. It was in the contract. We bought it with the abatement contractor. We did all that work. When we started pulling the old windows out to replace them, we found an old wood system behind it. So when they replaced these windows a long time ago, they never removed the old wood system. So literally, when we took the old window out, behind it was the old window from 100 years ago. We had the material, the caulk, tested at that time, just to be sure and be safe with the contractors, and it came back hot. And what I mean by that is it was ACM, it was containing asbestos. So that set back the project pretty well. Now you can understand we now have to stop. We now have to stop the job. We have a problem here. We have to address it, which we did fairly quickly. We had to bring in an abatement contractor. Now that abatement contractor has to remove all of these windows as ACM, something we didn't plan for. This is a great example of an unforeseen condition. We talk about these all the time. We just don't see what's behind those walls. Unfortunately, this one, we found a very bad condition, and it set us back pretty good on this. So, like John talked about earlier, if you go by the building, you see this front facade here, and you see this facade here on the right. So if you're looking at the building, we're doing the windows on the front and the right-hand side. In TPG's professional opinion, we understand that giving back that school and making sure that education becomes first, we want to turn those classrooms back over for use. Our opinion is that we stop removing any additional windows. We finish what we have open, complete the interior and exterior of that building, so we can turn it back over to the district with enough time to clean, turn back the spaces back over. There's a lot of equipment. If you've been in those elementary schools, there's a lot of stuff in those rooms for the kids. So we don't want to run into a situation where we're scrambling to put these back together. So with the amount of work that we have left, which is essentially 50% of the building, we're putting a plan together to come back and do the other half in the summer of 2026. And we think it's a very, very good decision that we're making here because we want to turn those spaces back over, and we don't want there to be a problem in the end, kind of where everybody's scrambling to put it back together. So with that being said, we're going to see it back here in the summer of 2026 to finish the other half of the building.
Bill, I'm just going to jump in on that for you. Yeah, so Bill just illustrated what we updated the board a couple weeks ago about, is we needed to sit down and make a determination with the Palumbo Group, with Tetra Tech, our architects and engineers, district staff, and take that approach. And I think we took a conservative approach because we're looking at the education of students. We can't let the construction interrupt the school year. Bathrooms, windows, so, and you see the work taking place outside, but there's still work that needs to be done inside, so we are concerned about that, and that's why we are where we are, and the decision that we've had to make. So I thank Bill for highlighting that and talking a little bit more about that. But there's still univents inside, there's still casework that has to be done, and that's just on top of the cleaning that has to go back in place, the desks, the floor waxing, this, that, the nuts and bolts of turning a building back over, so.
Any questions?
I have a question.
You
Go
wanna
ahead.
first? This is great. Thank you for the walkthrough on the windows in particular. I want to just dissect that so I understand how it worked and where we are. So when you discovered asbestos in COH, did you say that you removed all the windows at that point to do abatement, Or were you only removing the windows one at a time and replacing them? What I'm getting at, once we made the decision collectively, the wise one, to stop at 50% and say we're just going to get those replaced and then come back in a year, did we have to then put windows back into the 50% that we weren't? Do we have to put old windows back in? And if so, were there any complications because of the work that had already been done to identify the asbestos there?
Very good question. So there were 2 layers of caulk. We knew about the first layer, which was the outer layer, right? Until we abate that, we can't get behind that first layer. So unfortunately, we can't abate until after the school is out for session. So immediately, we got the abatement guys in there, and what they do is they were just removing the caulk. Because the window system itself, the cladding, the metal window system that you saw was not hot. So we were able to go in, we removed the caulk around that window, and then they left. They did the whole building, right? So now the building there's no caulk on the windows. So now we bring in the window guy. He starts removing the aluminum window. And what we found behind that was the old wood frame, which had the second layer of caulk. We would have never been able to find that until we removed the aluminum. So what we did is, after a long discussion, we brought the abatement contractor back in, and we only pulled out enough windows we felt comfortable we could put back, right? So we were only giving so many at a time. We didn't go and do the whole building. If we did that, we'd be in a much worse place right now. So we gave them enough. We said, hey, get this side done. We'll move on to the next side. So they did that. And we said, we'll leapfrog, right? We'll do a side at a time to assure that we can get all this work done, because we knew the second round of asbestos kind of stopped the whole job. It really killed the schedule. So no, we did not remove the windows. What we did remove are going to be replaced in 100% functional first school year.
Thank you. And just as a follow-up to that, so the 50% of windows that remain, the only thing that is different from last year is that they'll just have new caulk.
Correct. We actually put temporary caulk around there to keep the weather out.
Got it.
Otherwise, you're going to have the same window.
Got it.
We did remove the interior shades because we have to protect the interior of the window when we do the abatement with plastic. So we had to remove the shades. That is something we're working out now, how to put back temporary shades. We can't put the permanent ones back because they actually go into a pocket that hasn't been built yet. That's the only complication we have, but if that's the worst case, we could figure that out.
I heard my favorite topic, the bathrooms, come up. So I thought you said Lee Road bathrooms. Are they at Lee Road or?
So 2 bathrooms at Lee Road, 2 single bathrooms, but they're pretty large at Lee Road, are near completion, and then 2 gang bathrooms at COH.
Okay, so Lee Road is at 95%. So that'll be done when school starts.
Yep.
What's the status on the COH bathrooms?
We're starting tile on this Wednesday. I feel like we'll be complete. I think, I'm gonna knock on wood.
So we had this conversation before, you and I.
Yes, we have.
So okay, so you feel with certainty that we'll be good with those bathrooms at the start of school?
I do. And keep in mind, we were able to start Lee Road during the school year, which really helped us with the timeline, because bathrooms, as we're all aware, take a very long time.
Right.
So we were very fortunate to take the bathrooms over at Lee Road about a month and a half prior to school letting out, which allowed us to finish now. We tried to do that with COH, but because of the logistic and location of the bathrooms, we just couldn't take them offline. So the bathrooms will go to the wire. As a matter of fact, we'll be waxing the floors while they're still working in those bathrooms. We've worked it out with the district that we're working in a clean space. We have to be aware of that. We're going to keep the contractors, kind of making sure they don't mess up the building, but we do feel comfortable that everything will be complete by the school year.
Do we have a red flag date when, if they're not done, we are going to go to Plan B? And has that been agreed upon at this point?
No. I mean, we could certainly have that conversation, but right now I feel pretty confident we're going to be okay.
Okay.
I physically see the tile.
Okay.
I physically see people working. If I didn't see all that stuff sitting there, I might have a different outlook on it, but I do feel comfortable we're going to make it.
Yeah, I'll just answer that, Christine, as it's conversational based. It's in the back of our mind, but we're confident and comfortable that we'll be there, but conversations have had.
And just to follow on John's point, my understanding is that there are also additional bathrooms that are operational in addition to the ones you're working on in COH. So it is not like where we'll be having bathroom trailers outside the building like we I'm just saying, like, my understanding is that COH is set up a little bit differently. And
That-
so we do have operational bathrooms, even if they're not done by opening day.
That is correct.
I'll put a caveat, yes, we do, but we always want more bathrooms than we probably need. It's always a good idea in a school building with little kids traveling.
Agreed.
Any other questions, comments?
I have one follow-up. I just wanted to make sure everyone was done. I keep going back to the windows, I'm sorry. I just know when we have talked about this window project since the beginning, it has been the one where incremental costs have been the highest, but mostly because of procurement, right? There were so many inflationary pressures because of the windows, and when are we buying the windows? Do we have all of the windows that we will install already? Or do we still have to purchase windows or any other materials? And could those prices go up because we're delaying the project? I'm not raising this to question the decision, just to prepare for that possibility.
So we do have all the material, and we have had the conversations as taking possession of that material. God forbid something does happen with the contractor between now and next summer, the district will have possession of that material in case we have to go a different route.
Got it, thank you.
You're welcome.
John, anything else?
No, I just want to, again, I want to thank Bill as our project manager, Mike for stepping in, and Dr. Walter Moran. I think I keep forgetting to address him as Dr. Walter Moran, as he completed his doctorate recently. Walter and I talk way too much. I don't think people realize that, and how much Walter really has a pulse on everything in this district. And people may know that, but it's pretty intense. So thanks for Walter for being here as well.
Yes, thank you for your patience and for sticking around for us. We appreciate it. Oh. That's okay.
We got your good side.
Yeah. All right.
And I know Bill's presentation might be small here on the screen, so I can share it later on with the board, just so everyone's aware.
Thank you very much. All righty, moving right along. Interim superintendent's update. Megan
Okay,
Virginio.
thank you. So as you know from our updates to the board, we have been very busy in the CCSD getting ready for our 25-26 school year. So to keep the community updated, I did send an update in July, and an updated version will be sent out later this week. Included just for our families will be reminders about the information release timelines for schedules, how to access information on our websites, information about transportation and food service, and just an overall update on our preparation to open schools. So just be on the lookout for that, and for communication directly from your building principals. New this year for our seniors, you may have noticed when you pulled into the parking lots, there's a couple of spots that look a little different, and we hope that there'll be many more to come. So this has been in the works for a while now, but as a senior privilege, students who completed their paperwork can head out to the parking lots this week and start decorating their spots. So I know we're all looking forward to see what that looks like. If you've been to a high school that they've had that, it's pretty cool to kind of see the kids' vision on their parking spots. So it's a great new start of a senior tradition. Speaking of seniors, you guys are really going to enjoy working with our two new Board of Education members, Maeve Fogarty and Jocelyn Dixon. I had a great opportunity to meet with the girls last week to get their pulse on just different questions that they had. They're very impressive. They have a nice lens as current topics in education, and they're very excited for their new position on the board. So we look forward to welcoming them. I had shared some bios with each of you about the girls, so I encourage you to read a little bit on them before they start, because you will be very impressed. In preparation for our new school year, our administration and teaching staff have collaborated on 900 hours of summer curriculum work. That's a huge undertaking that takes place each summer. So the work has taken place on all levels, content, and departments. Our HR department has been incredibly busy hiring and onboarding new faculty and staff, and we look forward to welcoming all our new faculty and staff at staff orientation later this month. As we just saw from our update from the Palumbo Group, our district has been all things construction this summer. So that's kind of been the theme. We're excited with the progress, but even more excited to get back into our buildings and our classrooms. Our faculty and staff are chomping at the bit to get in, and we get our daily calls and emails. Can we come in today? Can we come in today? So very soon, we hope, so we can prepare everything for our kids to come back on September 4th. And with that, I just want to lastly extend a huge thank you to everybody who works incredibly hard over the summer. There is a tremendous workforce on all levels, in all nooks and crannies, to get everything done in a very short timeline. We literally flip our buildings, we flip our curriculum, we get everything nice and shiny and ready for our kids. So we're incredibly excited for the start of the new school year, and we just wished everybody, you know, an enjoyable last couple weeks of summer. And don't forget to get on your bus to get on time for school on the 4th. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. President's update, I'm just thinking about those days of having to set that alarm clock and then chase the kids down. So yeah, it's got to get into that routine now. The summer's going to go fast. So a couple of things from my seat. I did send out a memo with all the committee assignments, and we will talk about that a little bit later in the agenda, as well as we appoint the ones for the county, state, and school committees. But what I'm hoping we can do as a board is publish our meeting dates for the first half of the year, so from like now till December. If we could get those meetings on the calendar now, so we can publish those on the website, and so the public knows when those meetings will be taking place, and then we'll do it in the second half of the year. I know it's hard to schedule an entire year right now, not knowing what other commitments will be. So that will be posted on the website, as well as everybody's committees. If anyone has any questions, please just follow up. In an effort to make sure all board members have an opportunity to formally put things on the agenda prior to a meeting, I'm going to be sending around a form that you can fill out, and before every meeting, there's a deadline or a timeline included in that, just asking for your additional agenda items in the effort of being transparent and making sure everything is documented. It does not preclude you from bringing things up at a meeting, which is entirely your right, and that's all explained in my email, but please be on the lookout for that. As a reminder, or as a notification, and I'll send this as well, is that at our next meeting on September 8th, our new legal team is going to be here with us at 6 p.m. to talk about any current situations and just a general overview for the board in terms of legal practices and advice. And I'm very excited about our upcoming board retreat, which is next week. You should have received an email from one of the facilitators asking for your feedback on a 321 form. They're requesting that to be returned by Friday. One of my favorite sayings at work is garbage in, garbage out. So, if you can really give it some thought and put in your real thinking around that and turn that in, it will help us have a much more rich and productive meeting versus if you kind of just, blow it off and don't fill it out. It won't help us much. So I'm asking for your time and attention on that. And then Megan, thank you so much for sending us the form for the events that are happening throughout the year. I think it's really helpful for us as a board to see where the opportunities are, where we can show up and really celebrate our student achievements. And so I would ask folks, even if it's just on a monthly basis, to go in and look and see what your calendar allows you to attend, because really at the end of the day, we're here, right, for the students and to celebrate their achievements and help them where we can. So it's a wonderful opportunity to make sure that while we can't make everything individually, as a board, I'm hoping that we can holistically make all of the main events and show our support for the community and the school, the teachers, the students, et cetera. So thank you for that, and just if everyone can make a point to get on that and fill in when you can attend. So with that, thank you very much. Alrighty, so our consent agenda. So all items except for 3 and 5, which we've already voted on, could I have a motion to approve our consent agenda? Thank you. Does anyone want to pull anything? Was I supposed to ask that first? I'm sorry. Okay, could I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor of the consent agenda except for items 3 and 5? May I have a verbal?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
Christine, can I interrupt you real quick?
Please.
I have a very special tax warrant that I'm going to send to my left here that the board members have to sign. So there's a little piece here on the lower right-hand side. I'll start with Richard to my left and send it on down. Everybody can just sign their name. I'd appreciate it. That's our official tax warrant document that all starts flying out the door tomorrow, so people can get their tax bills in time. It's really exciting for them.
Great, thank you. Moving on to old business. Our first point is a resolution to approve Orange County Bus Patrol School Bus Stop Arm Enforcement. May I please have a motion to open this?
So moved.
A second? Discussion? Christian?
So I raised this in last month's meeting, but I'm just going to repeat, I think, why I asked people to kind of maybe do some research on this, but I also think it's really not a prudent step to take. And I think, starting with it, I'm not sure that there's any really upside, even in terms of safety for our district. As I said, there's no NHTSA study, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration study, or any other study indicating that the bus stop arm or the fines improve safety. In the years before this existed, there were, by narrow definition, only 4 fatalities over 10 years, and by a wider definition, only 40 nationwide, which would indicate that even if it was really effective, ability to make a change is almost minuscule. So the other part to this is that this is effectively a huge tax levy upon the people in our, what we do is allow them to do the buses within our district. And what that does, and we just last week, News 12 reported in Westchester last year, which had 14 districts, approximately the same that are in Orange County, that 15,000 civil penalties were issued. Now, districts are not the same size, but if you just kind of do that as a simple way, that works out to be almost $200,000 that would be levied. That will go 70% to bus patrol and 30% to the county initially, and we get a little bit of information. And so I think that since there's very little upside, both in terms of what we're going to be receiving, but also in terms of contribution to safety, and I mentioned some of the issues with how this is operated, that New York State changed the burden of proof, that you would now have to prove that you didn't if they assess the penalty to you. And this is reviewed by an out-of-state company, some of it by computers and artificial intelligence. And so if we're going to levy $200,000 roughly upon the people of this community, I have other things that I'd rather spend it on. And so I would urge people to not support this resolution.
Other comments? Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to thank Christian actually for flagging this, and I won't belabor the point, but I'll just say that, you know, there's lots of examples, not necessarily on the stop arm here, but you know, red light cameras, private prisons. When we turn over areas of law enforcement to private companies, that profit incentive can lead to some pretty poor outcomes. And I just want to add the antidote, and I'm not claiming that the group that's doing this, that the company that provides this service is doing this, but my sister actually is a civil engineer, traffic engineer for the State Department of Transportation. And she said when red light cameras first came out and got turned over to private companies, that they would time the lights specifically, not in terms of having the yellow be the right time of yellow for safety, but to catch the most people on the camera to generate revenue. And that's clearly not what we're looking for here. And I'm not claiming that this group is doing this. I'm just saying that these type of arrangements are ripe for that. And also, you know, Christian, I think you said they get 70% by my reading. I think they got 60 and then 65 and out. It doesn't really matter.
It's
Same
70%
ballpark.
initially to cover their capital costs, and then
Yeah.
it reduces, but it's still divided between the company and the
Yeah.
county.
The bulk of the benefit is not coming to our district. It's going to, well, it's actually not even the 30% or 40% is not coming to us. It's going to the county, and we're getting just crumbs behind. So to me, it doesn't seem like a prudent decision. Thank you.
John, any insight, and now I'm putting you on the spot, I'm just asking, based on your interactions with them?
My interactions have been limited. You know, it's up for the board's decision. As I said the last time, board discretion based on the information I've provided with you, with all the information that we've been provided with. As you said, Christian and Jim, number of districts have moved to these stop arm cameras. You know, certainly here in Orange County, also in Westchester, Putnam County, more and more are coming on board. Again, there's different agreements, different arrangements. It's an opportunity, an option for the board. So that's again, board decision.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board?
Just confirming, this is a one-year commitment. This would be something that we would re-up each year?
Sorry, multi-year agreement.
How many years is the initial?
I forgot, I'd have to go looking through that again, but yeah, you're entering into a multi-year contract because they're installing these onto the buses, and that, they're not gonna just take them off after.
My understanding was that they were already on, because of the shared bus services that we have, that the infrastructure was already there. We were just opting in to participate in the program.
That's not my understanding, although they do swap buses sometimes. So for example, we can use a bus that's being utilized in Newburgh, we just wouldn't be utilizing the camera, and that might be just simply because they're working on a bus that is Cornwall utilized. But yeah, you know, either they're using one and not using the camera, and/or it's not installed on all the
So
buses.
there's not all the buses, but like at the SY, which has some of the West Point tours, you can see the cameras are on the minibuses they're doing the pickups there. I think what this resolution does is authorizes them to actually use the cameras to assess penalties when they're on routes for this district. So we have the authorization for them while they're on our routes, and I think it is. And obviously, they're there because West Point Tours does more than just Cornwall, as you said.
Correct, but they still had buses that they need to install them on. I know that for a fact. They haven't done full implementation at West Point Tours.
Other questions or comments? Okay. By show of hands, can I see who approves the resolution, show of hands, the resolution to approve Orange County Bus Patrol school bus stop arm enforcement? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 7 opposed. Thank you. For discussion, the community engagement table, table discussion. This came up at our last meeting. We spoke about, Christian brought up to give the president the authority to sign up for, get a table at the community day events. We sent out a form for folks to put their ideas down, to give some suggestions in terms of what would our purpose and the value of us being there, besides, you know, just sitting there. What else could we be offering? I did look last week, and there wasn't much. Did you happen to check it? I didn't ask you to, but did you check it before the meeting? I didn't see much besides what I have. Okay, so we haven't gotten much more input or insight from the board, and so I'm reading that as it's not something we're really necessarily interested in doing wholeheartedly this year, but I'd like to open it up for discussion. Please.
Can I just stop?
Mhm.
Okay. It seemed, can you guys hear me? It seems to me like this might be something for the community, what is that called? Like the communications group to handle. So maybe after our first meeting, we can come back with something on that, since this doesn't seem like the place that people want to discuss or make decisions about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we don't need to necessarily vote on this. This is just a discussion around where we were going to go with that.
So
Could-
on the discussion, do you want to continue the discussion, or are we
Go
more or
ahead.
less?
No, I was going to move it on to the communications committee.
So, I mean, my vision of this, and the reason why, you know, I proposed the authorization, is that this is not really about us distributing information to the community. This is about us being, gathering information and listening and putting ourselves, in a sense, in their loop and in their stream in a way that's accessible. As you can see, the community really turns out for our board meetings. For those who can't see, because the cameras are on us, we are here by ourselves. And I think that says something, because just in the last 2 weeks, sitting in the Senator Skoufis on the street, 2 people came up and brought up issues just because they were bringing them up to Skoufis, and I was able to listen to there, and I will pass on the information, you know, to the rest of you when I summarize it. And I think it's important to get into those situations, because you hear people, otherwise you kind of listen to the people that you mostly associate with. And I will say that, like, our special education PTA is going to be present at both the Fall Festival and also New Windsor Community Day. And I think, they're doing it not just to give out information, but also to, let's say, listen, and how do you bring that information into it? And I would just add, this is something that I didn't know back in July, but a lot of districts, particularly in southern Westchester, are adopting what they call a buddy system, where it's not like, you're responsible for anyone, but you are, in a sense, every school board member is buddied with a constituency in the community. And therefore, you become the source or the conduit of information to the board as a whole. And it might be kind of a model that the Communications Committee might want to investigate, because I think that is the function we're serving, whether it's at Fall Festival, Community Day, or some other venue.
It's great, yeah, thank you. Jim?
Yeah, just to add to the discussion, so I think, Christian, you raise a good point that communication is two ways. It's giving out information, also taking in information, so it's important to be mindful of both ways. I'll just echo Jamie's point. If we didn't get a lot of interest from the board and when we emailed this out, I don't think we're ready to go to the New Windsor Community Day and the Fall Festival this year. Perhaps next year we may be, but I think it's, at this point, with the lack of interest, it's best to give it to the Communications Committee and let them further bat around ideas if we want to do events like that, or if we want to hold our own events, similar to the mayor and the village and the supervisor in the town have held once or twice a year for the past several years, sort of, listening events at the library. So there, I think there's a lot of support on the board to engage the community, but I think the issue still for discussion is how we best do that. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
And just to piggyback on that too, I don't feel like there's a lack of interest. I just think that it hasn't been like the proper place to plan and figure out exactly what we want to do. And I think when we do show up at these events, we want to show up like we know what we're doing and talking about. So I think doing this in a smaller group and having the Communications Committee take hold of it is going to be great. And like Jim's idea, if we're not ready to do that at Fall Fest, yeah, let's do something at the library or whatever. But yeah, I think working this out in a smaller group is probably the best way forward.
Anyone else? Great, thank you. Yeah, I didn't mean to insinuate it wasn't of interest, just how we go about doing it. I think it's great to have Communications Committee tackle that and come back to us. Thank you. So speaking of committees, new business, non-consent agenda. Our first item is discussion on Board of Ed committees. I did send around an email on Friday that had all the committee assignments. I believe everybody was able to get their first pick. Most people got their second pick. I spoke to you if that wasn't the case and explained the rationale, but I think we're set with all our committees. If anyone does have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me privately and we can figure that out. The ones that we need to discuss as a board are our assignments or our appointments to OXPA, NYSBA, and our legislative liaison. And as I shared, all right, I'm just going to do a point check here. Forgive me, I'm still new to this. Can I just do them all at once and we approve all of them at the same time, or do I have to do each one individually?
I think you can say as per document if their names are already on the agenda.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, so as per the document that I sent out on Friday, our appointments for OXPA, Legislative Liaison, and NYSBA, can I get a motion to approve the list as distributed?
So moved.
A second?
I
Richard?
would say, Christine,
Yeah.
if we're taking a vote, that we vote also on the committees, which are all on the same document.
Sure, thank you.
And then that you just, after we take the vote, that you email it to Linda. She can attach it to the agenda so it's visible to the public.
Thanks.
Yeah.
This is a great example of people having each other's backs, so thank you. Okay, so let me start over. Can I have a motion to approve the committee assignments for both OXPA, Legislative Liaison, NYSBA, and then our school committees, which is DEI, Health and Safety, and Professional Development, as distributed on Friday? By a show of hands, all approved? Excuse me, not approved? Thank you. Linda, I'll share this with you before we leave. All right, thanks, everybody. Our next one is our adoption of the 25-26 CCSD Code of Conduct. May I have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Righty. By show of hands, those that,
Well, you should open a discussion.
okay.
I'm just saying.
Well, we kind of had that option already, but, okay, discussion.
No, yeah, I just offered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any discussion? Comments?
Jim interjected with some great ex-president
I know,
procedural
thank
advice, so
you.
I just had to play the.
It was an
play the
internal
part.
dialogue, should I or shouldn't I? And I went with shouldn't I, but it's okay. Alrighty, any discussion, comments about code of conduct? Okay. All of those in favor of approving the code of conduct?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, thank you. And then recognition of visitors, which we have none. And then closing comments by the board. 9 o'clock, not so bad, okay. Jim, can we start with you?
Enjoy the rest of your summer, everybody. Thank you.
Eleanor, we'll just go down the line.
Ditto. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Yeah, that.
Ditto, but I've been instructed. I have great tidings of good tidings of great joy to share with the community. There's a performance this coming weekend of Beetlejuice. Part of I guess part of the larger drama community, the Cornwall drama community, an organization which my wife is a part of, Cornwall Theater and Arts. They've been putting on programs sponsored by the PTOs, the PTO Trust, and so it's all Cornwall kids having more opportunities to get on stage and also help backstage, and it's really just a great extension of all of the great stuff that's already going on during the school year. So anyway, they're putting on performance of Beetlejuice Friday night at 7 p.m. at Storm King School. It would be here, but obviously this building is being worked on. And then on Saturday at 3 and 6, also at Storm King School. I think the name of the website is, the BookTick site is cornwallta.booktix, but that might also be wrong. So you should look that up. And the sign is in front of Town Hall if you want to stop traffic and take a picture of it. But great shows, great kids, worth a night or day out if you've got time.
I'm good tonight.
Well, thank you for not making me go first and surprising me, but I have nothing. Have a good rest of your summer.
Go see Beetlejuice.
So I have the long one about what is a dangerous book to read, but I'm not going to do that tonight. So I'm just going to make a report on some observations that I did some research on what board committees exist in the Hudson Valley from different school boards. Not surprisingly, audit committee everyone has because it's mandated, and policy committee. So there are 26 districts that have a curriculum committee out of the 97, and really 10 more if you include like technology curriculum. There are 11 special education committees, 4 code of conduct committees, and we are the only district that has a communications committee outside of Westchester County. And I think committees are something that are not necessary because they're part of what each board does it differently. Some boards have an AI committee. Several boards have an AI committee. Several boards have negotiation committees and things of that sort. But as people know, I've advocated for special education curriculum and code of conduct. And I think that, it kind of puts in the light, not necessarily what is advisable, but what is at least commonplace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for your patience. I promise this will get smoother, but I appreciate your support and having my back. And, enjoy the rest of the summer, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week for our retreat. Thank you. Thank you. Can I say? It never ends. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.